Welcome to Monkeys Unfiltered, the podcast where chaos meets conversation, and the unexpected is always on the menu. Join hosts Leanne, Jason, and Hayden as they swing through life's absurd, hilarious, and thought-provoking moments. No topic is too wild, no opinion is too untamed. Get ready for unfiltered banter, laughs, and a barrel of fun. This is Monkeys Unfiltered.
So, Jason, you watch Twitch, right?
I watch plenty of Twitch.
It's like what you do most of the time.
So I've adjusted a lot into YouTube because like I listen to it while I work since I pay for premium now.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, since I got my second monitor, there's something usually on the second screen. A lot of the time it is Twitch.
Yeah. What about you, Mom? I know you're not huge into the live streams, but is there one in particular that you might watch?
I have an itch. Is that what you said?
Twitch.
Oh, Twitch. Like in my eye?
No, the streaming service.
No, I don't know anything about that. I do know there is this one one girl on there though I like.
What's
I
her
watch
name?
her sometimes.
How can you not know about it and there be a girl on there that you like?
Well, because here's the thing. I don't really watch it for any other reason than just this one girl that streams. Her name is Chi-Chi.
Chi-Chi.
I've heard of her.
Who's that?
Ooh.
Hey!
Whoa, she's here.
It's Chi-Chi.
Hi.
For everyone who doesn't know, this is my wife, Cheyenne, also known as Chi or Chillin' with Chi.
Hi, Cheyenne.
Hi, Dakota. Oh, I'm going to call you Dakota. Oops. I cannot switch to Jason.
Just commit.
Here's another one of those disclaimers for any of our new listeners. Jason's middle name is Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I was introduced to you 10 years ago, so that is now engraved in my brain.
So, first guest for us, new territory.
I'm very honored.
I don't know how to do this whole interview thing, especially when it's my wife.
Generally, in an interview, you ask questions and then they answer them.
Yeah, but we might want to take a minute to say, welcome to this episode of Monkeys Unfiltered, so everybody knows where they are.
Yes, this is Monkeys Unfiltered. Thank you for joining us. And again, this is our first interview. So, what questions y'all got for Chi-Chi? And if
we
you
get
wanna
to go
ask,
first?
Yeah, if you want to ask questions to her, or if you want to include me in the questions about some of our past that you might not know or want to know more
What's
about.
the atomic number of cadmium?
72.
Sure, why not?
Questions
sounds
I know,
good.
please?
Not everybody at once.
Yeah, but remember the episode where Dakota wanted to be able to read minds because he wanted to know what his wife wanted him to do?
Yeah, and I also had to follow through.
Right. Okay, so I'm excited to have our very first guest because you all know I am down with the interview because I think we've determined I'm the nosy one in the bunch. So I'll ask the first question.
Yeah, we can all agree with that.
Shut up. Cheyenne, tell us what people most misunderstand about you.
I think a lot of people underestimate me at first. I feel like I remember actually Dakota one time we were on a trip together and I remember him telling me that he tells me that I handle myself well when it comes to people like making jokes at me. So I think a lot of people like underestimate the fact that they could easily offend me or like hurt my feelings. Now, maybe you can hurt my feelings pretty easily, but I feel like I'm very understanding or like very easy to just like joke around with. So I feel like that's me. That's one of the things that I think people.
You are not
really know
easy
about
to
me.
joke around with because I piss
Yes,
you off
I
all the
am.
time.
No, only okay. I will say not with Hayden because Hayden is like my person. So maybe like it's a little bit different between us versus like other people.
Yeah, so you think people think that you're like a pushover and you're not.
Right. Like it's not easy to, maybe it's easy to make me angry, but it's not easy, like, unless you say something that makes me, I don't know, I'm trying to think like of an example, but it's hard. Like, I guess it's just I think people don't realize how chill I am until they talk to me, maybe.
Chilling with Chi.
So to put that in context, I think we were in Hawaii and like somehow it just kind of became a roast session on you.
Yeah.
And I just like, everybody shut up for a second. Y'all don't understand. Like, she has taken all of this in stride, put any one of us, and there was like 5 other people in the car. I said, put any one of us in your position and we fold 100%. We get mad, we start shouting, and you did none of that. So like, you take everything in stride, and I love that about you.
Aw, thanks.
You're pretty dope.
Aw.
Hey, so Hayden, are you asking your wife questions too, or is it just me and Jason?
I'll ask some questions too. Yeah,
Oh, okay. You get to ask all the questions we don't know to ask.
but
Uh-oh.
also if y'all want to ask questions that would include my answer, you can. Like if you want to hear 2 sides of the same.
I've got one of those, because seemingly this would be a joint decision, or at least it should be. If you won $10 million tomorrow, what would you spend it on?
Okay, first off, Hayden and I's dream is to own a beautiful home. So I would first go and like probably pick out the most beautiful house that I can find on the coast in Florida, preferably somewhere that hasn't had a hurricane hit it. So I don't know if that's possible. So I would do that, and then I would invest pretty wisely. I'm not really an investor right now, but I would look up what I could invest in to hopefully make more money off of that. And then probably just open up my own business, because it's always been my dream to be a business owner and do something that I love every single day, but also like be my own boss, if that makes sense. So that's 3, but that's the 3 things I would do.
So I have some follow-up questions with that.
Okay.
Would you describe your ideal beautiful house?
Ooh.
And what type of business would you start given the opportunity?
And are you going to buy your mother-in-law a sandwich?
Real quick, if we won $10 million, I'm buying a boat.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Well, we're on the
know
coast
that.
of Florida, so it would be perfect.
In Ormond Beach.
Yes, we can come to Ormond, because gas money would be not a worry anymore. Okay, so house, I already know. Like, I don't know what Hayden's dream house looks like, but I can tell you mine. Mine would be modern coastal. So like,
I promise
big,
you his
white...
looks exactly the same as yours.
Really? Is it really?
Probably.
That's awesome. This is how you know we're meant to be. It's big, modern, like big windows, white, palm trees, like coastal vibes would be like light blue, the whites, the silvers, all that. And it would probably, I'm trying to think of what else like I thought of in my brain. A big old pool in the backyard. We'd have to have a boat ramp for Hayden's boat. So yeah, modern coastal is definitely like what I want. And white. Everybody's
Love
like,
that.
don't do white, but for me, I love white. I don't know what. It's white all day for me.
And your business?
Oh, my business. Okay, I've been asked about this a couple times, but I don't know the exact kind of business that I would want. I just know that I want it to be like small. I don't want Amazon size. Like, that sounds very intimidating. I just want like something small, like mom and pop style, make people's day, have a few regulars and just vibe and live life.
So maybe like a coffee
A
shop?
coffee
or a
shop.
bakery or
Ooh,
something?
yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes, maybe a coffee
A
shop. The only
coffee
problem is,
shop.
well, I guess if I won 10 million, it doesn't really matter. But I feel like coffee shops, it's hard to make money in coffee
Maybe
shops.
a bookstore with a coffee shop in it.
Yes.
Oh, no, there's a thought.
And like painting with a twist and stuff in the back. Yes.
Maybe like one of those things, those cat cafe things, but for dogs instead.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So I know I'll know the answer to this question, but walk us through a day in the life of Chi-Chi. Like start off by getting out of bed.
Okay, so I am not a morning person whatsoever. So I wake up probably between 9:45 and 10:15. because I don't have to work until 11 and I don't have to drive very far. I literally have to drive 6 minutes up the road. So I wake up. If Hayden has already left for the day, I'll have to take out Athena. If he's home, it's his job in the morning to take her out, so I don't have to worry about Athena. I will do my makeup. Typically, I'll grab a snack because I'm not super hungry in the morning. So I'll do my makeup, grab a snack, and then I'm normally rushing out the door because if you truly know me, you know I'm late for everything in my entire life. And then I'll normally pull into work like 2 to 3 minutes late. My boss knows I'm going to be late and it's fine. You know, we have an understanding. She knows I can work faster if I'm late. And then I'm not going to talk about like the specifics of my jobs for safety reasons, but I basically manage a ice cream store. I have to go in, I have to count the safe, I have to count all the drawers, I have to clean up outside because, as you know, ice cream can be very not clean. So I have to clean up outside. After I do all the money and such, I have to put in all the information, all the financials and the computers. And then I get ready for the day. I have to check on cake orders. I have to make sure all the ice cream's ready to go. And then I typically have to write out a list of stuff that we have to do for that day. So it's normally just me and then the owner at the store for a few hours. And then we do have teenagers that come in after they get out of high school. So it's my job to make sure they know what they're supposed to do for the day. So I will make the list for them. They do the list. And then about 6 o'clock, I am out of there after everything's done. And then I come home. I will walk Athena. Sometimes we'll walk, a pretty decent little length. If I have to stream that day, then we don't typically walk that far, but we'll come back home. I will make a quick dinner, and then, or if Hayden's home, sometimes he'll have dinner ready for me, and then I get ready. Sometimes I'll shower. Sometimes I just do my makeup and sit down at my desk because that's the kind of day it was, and I start streaming. If I'm not streaming, I either take a nap or I'll watch a movie or clean up the house a little bit. So nothing super exciting, and then when I'm done streaming or I take a nap, I normally get on my computer after that, and then I will game with some friends until way too late at night.
It's
Don't we all?
probably why you wake up so late in the day.
That too. But even if I could get 10 hours of sleep and I'm still not waking up before 8 o'clock in the morning.
Can y'all tell that she is a professional talker?
Yep.
I was just getting ready to say, I need a nap after listening to her explain her day because she talks really fast like this and oh my God, but you would think after 10 years I would be used to it.
I also say a lot and I don't like that. I've noticing how many times I say
So clearly you're the manager of this ice cream store.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't just happen, right? So you want to walk us through how you got to that point?
Yes. So I started working at this ice cream store when I was 16. It was my first job ever. And I almost didn't get hired because
Wait, so when you said you're 16, how old are you now? So what's the
Oh,
comparison
I'm 24. So I've been there 8 years. Actually, 8 years
Okay.
next week. I started like mid-April. I don't remember. I could look at the exact day, but I don't know the exact day off the top of my head. But so I was 16. So I've been there 8 years. I almost didn't get hired because she was full. And she interviewed me last. And so she was like, I think I'm full, but come back tomorrow and let's see what we can do. And so I ended up going back the next day and I was like, I really want this job. And a girl that was there had actually just been in her 2 weeks that day. So she was like, you got lucky because this girl, I really wanted to hire you, but I was full. But this girl right here, her name was Nicole. Shout out to Nicole. She had put in her 2 weeks the same day. So she was like, I have a spot for you. So come back next week for training. So I started working, and then before I knew it, I was a night manager, and then before I knew it, I was an opening manager, and then I actually ended up leaving. It was January of 2020. We all know what happens in 2020, but January 2020, it was part-time at first at the ice cream store for 4 years. 4 years I was part-time. I ended up leaving. I ended up getting a job at CarMax, and then after 3 months at CarMax, March 2020 hit, and we all know what happened in March 2020. COVID hit. I was furloughed. Did I say that right? Furloughed? I was furloughed.
Furloughed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually loved my job there, and I loved all the guys there. That's a whole different topic because I was like the only female in that department. But I love my job there. They were like, we'd love to have you come back. But as of right now, like we have to lay you off. I was one of the new ones, so I totally understood. And so I ended up, actually, it's crazy we're doing this podcast today because today is my boss's daughter's birthday. So it was about a month later. Today on April 11th, her daughter's birthday. I texted her. I said, hey, I know it's your daughter's birthday. Tell her I said happy birthday, and I miss you guys. And she texted me back like right away. And she's like, oh my gosh, we miss you. I hope you're okay. Like, how's CarMax? And I said, actually, it's funny that you say that because I actually just got furloughed a few weeks ago. And she texted me back immediately and was like, come back to the store. And I was like, wait, what? I said, wait, are you guys even open? Like, I didn't think that, you would be an essential business. And she goes, we're food, so we're essential, so we're open, and we are slammed because there was like nothing else for people to do. There was no movies, there was no like roller skating, there was nothing. So people went out and got ice cream as like their activity with their kids. So she was so busy. She was like, please come back. So I ended up going back part-time. And then about a month and a half later, my CarMax boss texted me and he said, hey, we miss you. Business is booming again. We'd love to have you come back. And I walked up to my boss. We were walking out together and I said, hey. And she looked at me and she goes, CarMax called you, didn't they? And I said, yes. And she goes, I don't want to lose you. And I said, I know, but I need full time. She's like, I'm going to make this happen. So I said, okay. So that night she calls me and we go over, a plan for me. She goes, I'll match whatever CarMax was paying you. You can pick your hours basically. I get 2 days off a week. I basically got to pick my 2 days off. I love Sundays off. So she gave me Sundays off. And then during the week, I have just like any day off that I really want. I just have to tell her what day. And so she matched my pay at CarMax and we made a plan for me to be full-time there, and the rest is history.
That's really great. I just have one question.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is COVID? Never heard of that before.
I don't know.
No. So I'm only kidding. I worked 2 essential jobs at the time, so I never got to like take a break. So I know exactly the
Working
struggle.
in grocery
and
stores.
Yeah, right. So I worked in inventory for convenience stores, and I also delivered pizzas as a second job. Both of them were essential. So I was working more during the pandemic than I was before.
Yeah.
And,
I took a break because I had COVID.
Yep.
Mm.
I will say CarMax remained open. They were essential. It's just that it wasn't as busy. So they had to furlough like as many people probably as they could while still running. So because I was just hired, they were like, I was still training technically. Like I wasn't even like able to perform the duties on my own still. So it made sense for them to furlough me.
It speaks to the mark that you make though, when both jobs, and especially this one owner, was like seeking you out so hard to the point she was willing to match salary and give you whatever days you wanted. That's really cool.
Yeah. We're very close.
Okay, I have not such a heavy question. Well, because we like to mix it up. So if you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Definitely steak and probably mashed potatoes and a nice big salad. And then for dessert, brownies with the ice cream that I work at on top. But I'm not going to say what the brand is because I don't want people to know where I work. But that is what I would eat.
That's probably the same meal my husband would eat if he only had one.
Do you know what my meal would be, Chi-Chi?
You know what yours would be?
Can you guess mine?
A mountain melt.
Yeah.
Everybody should know that by now.
Right. You dream about mountain melts.
So tell us a little bit about how you got into streaming, because I find it fascinating as to where you actually found streaming, like the platform you found it on.
Well, and the fact that you do both. You work a full-time job and stream. It must be hard.
Yeah, so this is another very loaded question, so I'm so sorry about how much I'm talking. But so this was the same year that I went full-time at my job now. So it was June 2020. Obviously, everybody, they said, 2 weeks of lockdown will be good. Well, we all know that turned into like, a year and a half, 2 years. So it was about June 2020. We're all on lockdown. Hayden and I had just bought a Switch. Did we just buy it or have we had it for a while?
I think I had bought it like right when I started at my job, because I was like, they're cheaper than I thought. I'm just going to go get one. And so I went to Walmart and bought one, and then you kind of just took it.
Well, let's tell them why I took it. So there was a game that was like bustling. It came out in March 2020. It was called Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's actually still, I think, one of the top 5 like purchased games around the world. It might be in the top 10, but at the time, it was the number 1 game across like everything. Well, I can't say across every platform because it's only on Nintendo, but it was such a big game. I ended up downloading it, and I had so much fun with it. And then I'm really big on Facebook. I love Facebook, and I love to join Facebook groups. So I ended up joining this Facebook group. Actually, I joined probably like 20 of them because there was so many. And then one day I'm scrolling, I'm trying to look for inspo because in the game you can decorate your own little island. So I'm very into decorating, and so I'm in this Facebook group, and I come across a live stream on Facebook, and it's this girl, and I am still friends with her. I still love her to death. Her name is Potato. Shout out to Potato because I wouldn't be streaming without her. But her name was Potato, and I clicked on her stream, and I followed her, and a little alert popped up that was like, "Oh, thanks for following." And she was like, "Hi," and she said my name. She said Cheyenne because on Facebook I was Cheyenne. So she said, "Thank you for following." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, what is this? Like, this is cool." Hayden had watched, he had watched some Sea of Thieves streamers around me, but I never really like knew what it was. Is his name Mason? Is that what his name was?
Yeah, Mason.
Okay, yeah. So that's like the only stream I ever watched before was that one. So I think he was on Twitch. So I had no idea what this was. So I'm talking to her, and it's like a live thing, and it blew my mind. So about a month, 2 months go by, and I had become, a regular in her stream. I loved it. I ended up watching some other streamers, and I was telling Hayden about it. I was like, "What is this? Like, this is so awesome." And he was like, "This is called like live stream, like content creation for video games, except it's like live streaming." And I was like, "This is so awesome." So about 2 months go by. This is like August 1st. And I told Hayden, I said, "I think this is something that like I would love to do. Like, can we make this happen?" And he just built this PC that I had been streaming on for forever. And I'm going to shout out Hayden right now because he had saved up so much money for this PC. And he was like, "I will give you my PC." And I was like, "Are you sure?" Like, I literally I not only stole the Switch, but then I stole his PC to do this. But I think he was excited for me to do it. So he loves me, and he's the best husband ever. So he installed the PC. It was in our game room at my mom's house. But we installed it into our bedroom so that I could have like a space for like streaming, and he could like play in the game room while I'm streaming. So we bought a camera, we bought a microphone, we bought a green screen, we bought all the things that we needed. And originally I was in our closet, and we figured out the Wi-Fi did not work in the closet. But so we brought it back out into the bedroom. And so I started streaming, and I don't know, it took off like crazy. At least in the past year, I will say it's taken off way more than it did on Facebook. But I guess that might be another question, unless you want me to just keep elaborating on my streaming journey in this.
No, I want to talk about how I had to
give up your Twitch
and
your computer
consoles that I worked so hard to get, and then I just got shoved back into Xbox gaming.
That is marriage.
It's love.
Right. And so, yeah. And so, you know how you said, "Hey, can we make this thing happen? Can you make this happen for us?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." That's sort of what happened with Monkeys too. We were talking one day, and we were like, "Oh God, it would be so cool." And bam, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Hayden makes everything happen.
So be careful.
Really
be careful about what you say to Hayden.
I like this whole like making stuff thing. Like, I wasn't too fond of like being front and center like this, but I like the more we do it, the more I get used to it and everything. But when she started streaming, I really just enjoyed like building the stream. Like, I don't know if you remember, I put up that bar above your desk that held the lights and the camera so it wouldn't shake with your desk, because you had that little flimsy Walmart desk that I remember
you showing me that.
The leg just gave out on it one day. I remember that.
I do. I remember you showing me when you were so proud. You're like, "Look what I did for Cheyenne."
So my next question was going to be, are you an extrovert or an introvert? But I think throughout everything, we've already gotten an answer to that question.
Yes, definitely an extrovert. I have never been an introvert in anything in my life. So,
well, if you go straight off a word count in this episode, I think she has quadrupled our word count combined.
Right.
For all the episodes.
And y'all thought I talked a lot. Y'all thought I talked a lot. Oh my gosh. I'm sitting over here going, well, I could just check out. She's got
she's good
she's
at
got
it.
the
That's why
talk
she does it.
handled. Yes.
Cheyenne, imagine your parents are in a conversation with someone. How would they describe what it is that you do?
The streaming?
Either one or both.
So my parents are describing, well, my mom watches me, like she's very supportive. My dad knows what I do, but I don't think he really fully understands, because I've tried to like explain it to him, and some of the questions that he asks, he's like, wait, what do you like? He's like, what? And I'm like, just trust me, it's okay. But my mom, she fully understands. So I'm to make this funny, I'll do what I think my dad would say. I think if someone was like, hey, I saw Cheyenne is streaming, like, what's that about? He would say, she forces people to pay money to play games with her. Because that is kind of like what he thinks.
Oversimplification.
At least he understands it's streaming and not something else.
Yeah.
And there's no force whatsoever. You can watch totally free. Except there's now been what's called the adpocalypse, where you can't watch without getting bombarded with 30 minutes of ads or something.
Yeah. And I've tried to explain to him, like, Dad, nobody is like, it's free to watch. You can subscribe to support, but it's not a forceful thing. Like, you can just watch for free.
Yeah, content creation is about leaning on others' generosity to help you continue to put out content that they happen to enjoy. There's no force or anything. And a lot of people don't understand, like, why would you pay to watch, whatever? It's like, well, because I just enjoy this person's perspective, or I enjoy what they do.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to switch it so Hayden can be part of the conversation. Tell us how you guys met, Cheyenne.
Oh, how we met. Okay, well, we had known each other for a while. Okay, I would say we knew of each other in middle school. He was obviously on the football team. He was on the baseball team. He was, he was a known guy. Trust me. He doesn't believe me.
With my athletic prowess. I mean, look at these man tits.
Because he's got good genes.
Oh my God.
He doesn't believe me when I tell him this, but he was like in the top 3 like cutest guys in middle school that all the girls heart throbbed over. Yes, he was. I can name the 3 guys, and he is in the top 3. I'm not kidding. This is why, because so we ended up having a class together in 8th grade. We had known about each other in 7th grade. I don't think we knew about each other in 6th grade. 7th grade we knew of each other. 8th grade we had a class together, and for some reason, we sat down next to each other. It was open seating in our teacher's class. Her name was Miss Fees. Shout out to Miss Fees. I feel like I'm giving so many shout outs this time.
Oh, so wait.
Shout out to her.
Valerie was in on this from the very beginning?
Yeah. She had open seating.
Now I know who I have to thank. Thanks, Val.
Yep. She had open seating in her classroom. We basically walked in, and most of the time teachers will have like a seating chart. Like, it's normally alphabetical. They're like, hey, you sit here, you sit here. But in her class, we walked in, she's like, sit wherever you want to. I'm not strict. So we were like, okay. So I ended up sitting, there was like 2 rows, and like I ended up sitting towards the back next to a friend named Cecilia. And then Hayden sat on the other side of me. And we were just like, hey, how's it going? Like, I think we just kind of like said hi every now and then. And then sometimes we would have like free time, I guess, in her class. I don't remember how. I remember we talked a lot, but I don't remember why. It wasn't while she was teaching.
Probably because you weren't paying attention. We had a lot of
No, like, that's why I said she wasn't really teaching. We were just, I think it was like either we were supposed to be having discussions of like a movie or like a book we read, because I think it was like literature arts or something. But Hayden and I always ended up talking to each other like about it, and then we would always veer off and we start talking about something else. And then I think we both figured out I was on the softball team, he was on the baseball team. So when that started in like January, we ended up talking about that. We were like, hey, you're on the baseball team, you're on the softball team. But there wasn't really like anything romantic yet, because he had a girlfriend, I had a boyfriend. And then I ended up breaking up with my boyfriend, and then Hayden and I ended up getting closer. And then one day I was like, I think I like this dude. And I kept it a secret for so long. I don't remember. I wish I knew. It would have been a while. It had been several weeks before he found out.
Mhm.
But I was like, I think I like this dude. And so Lexi, I had a best friend at the time named Lexi. I told her, there was kind of a trio of us. This is what I was saying to Hayden about he was the heartthrob. There was a trio. It was me, Lexi, and Caitlin. Caitlin had a crush on Hayden for like ever. And so I didn't tell her. Yes, she did. She did forever. I told Lexi, but I didn't tell Caitlin because I was like, I can't tell her that I have a crush on the same guy as her because in middle school, that's like the end of the world. So I was like, okay, I'm not telling Caitlin. So a few weeks went by and the feelings got stronger and stronger and stronger for Hayden. And I just kept talking about him. I couldn't get him out of my mind. And so one day I'm talking to Lexi about it again. I was like, Lexi, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I really like him. And I had just found out he just broke up with his girlfriend. And so I was like, I feel like maybe I should say something. And she was like, I mean, if you want to. And I was like, but what about Caitlin? And so in the behind me and Lexi, as we're talking in this class, there's this guy named Chris listening in on this conversation.
Creeper.
And he leans forward and he goes, yes. Oh my goodness. But shout out to Chris though. Once again, shout out to Chris because he goes, I'm telling Hayden next period you have a crush on him. And I said, no. I said, do not tell him. I said, do not. And so he runs out of class. I couldn't even catch up to him because he was running so fast. And so the next period, I found out he ended up telling Hayden, like, hey, Cheyenne has a crush on you, dude, like, blah, blah, blah. And the next day we had that class together. And Hayden doesn't remember this, but I remember this. This is burned in my memory. This man walks into class and books it to the other side of the classroom and changed his seat away from me.
I disagree. I don't remember this at all.
It's engraved in my brain because I went, oh my God, that tells me right there he does not like me. Like, he does not like me like that. He moved. I will say he went and sat next to Chris, though. So, I don't, I don't know. But yeah,
Can
he
I just
moved.
say,
What?
I hate this episode.
Why?
I'm just like on the spot, I feel like, and I don't like it.
It's not a
Cheyenne
bad
is
thing.
on the
Okay,
spot.
I know.
wait. Then you know what question I'm going to ask next.
Oh boy.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, Hayden, who's that girl you were kissing behind the dolphin tank at the Baltimore Aquarium?
I do not recall.
Oh, wow.
I have a picture.
Me too.
I have proof.
Me
Hayden's
too.
pleading the fifth.
There it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, y'all legitimately had like a high school drama sitcom.
Mm-hmm. Middle school, though.
It's-
We
to
have
get
to put the
together.
picture up on social.
Oh yeah, middle school.
Yeah, that picture
Yeah,
would be good.
if I can find the original
Oh, that's
picture
fun.
that's not just a printout, I will.
Well, you can just snap a picture of that. We can toss it up there. But
That's what I'm saying.
I like the way the rest of the story goes, though.
Yes, the rest of the story is the best part. Do you want to tell the rest? Aiden?
Especially when Hayden
So,
wouldn't say
yeah,
goodbye to
we-
his mom because he was too busy sitting in the back of the bus with his new girlfriend.
Anyway, so we ended up on a field trip to Washington, D.C., and we took a bus ride overnight because it's like a 12-hour drive, and if you're on a Greyhound bus, it's like a 15-hour drive. And so I'm sitting next to one of my friends, John, and she's sitting next to one of my childhood friends, Kaylee, and I don't really know what, like, why I decided then and there, but I asked Kaylee to like slyly give me her number, and I started texting her, and I'm like, hey, I can see you. And I'm being weird and cringy and
Classic.
14 years old, right?
Yep.
In middle school. And so she starts getting suspicious, and she asks Kaylee, like, what's Hayden's phone number? And like the wingman she is, she gave a completely fake phone number to cover for me.
Okay, shout out to
She
Kaylee.
was. Yes, she. Okay, wait. Disclaimer: Kaylee did get a shout out at our wedding because shout out to Kaylee.
But so I originally, God, I hate this. I originally tried to ask her out by texting her because she's on the other side of the bus, and I'm not going to shout across the bus because
Hold up. Wait a minute. Pause, sir. I am in the seat next to you. I am not across the bus. Literally, like, I wish the
Across
podcast
the
could see
aisle.
what I'm doing.
Across the
It's-
aisle.
Yes, across the aisle. I am across the aisle. Like, he could touch my shoulder. with his
No,
pointer
I was in the
finger.
window and John was next to me, and you were a row up. We weren't that close together.
Okay, but we weren't on the other side of the bus together. You
But
could have
you
been
were
like, "Hey,
on-
John, let me switch seats with you real quick."
You were on the other side. Like, I mean to the left, not like I'm in the back. You're
As
in the
far as
front.
width goes, he's not wrong.
So,
It's not lengthwise.
regardless, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm not shouting across a bus full of sleeping middle schoolers who are all my peers.
Because you know everybody's getting up in your Kool-Aid
And
at
Miss
that point.
B.
Hey! You want to go out? Like, I'm not doing that. But, so I originally asked her over text, and then she was just like, no. And I'm like, what the what? She was like, you have to...
Did she know who you were at that point?
Yeah,
or no?
yeah, she knew by this point.
Okay.
But then she was like, you have to ask me in person. And we were stopping soon at a rest stop in middle of nowhere, South or North Carolina.
That's my
one of the
girl.
two.
Make him do it in person.
And so at a rest stop, I asked her to be my girlfriend. And then...
Do we talk about
Was
what
it all
happened
weird and
next?
awkward and cringy?
So within
so bad.
within 5 minutes of this, she grabs me by the hand and takes me around back and starts making out with me. And
Oh
so,
my God, this is so embarrassing.
so
My man.
you know how she says or claims, and I still don't believe it, that I was a quote unquote heartthrob.
You were.
She believed
100%
she
can
believed
confirm.
at the time that I had made out with so many girls and knew what I was doing. And she kind of just attacked me, and I was like, "Ah!"
She had to teach.
Listen, this was a buildup of a lot of months, okay?
Wait, did she have to teach you
I
how
didn't
to
know
kiss?
what to do with, well, like make out and stuff.
Make out.
Yeah,
I think
because
about make out.
I was like, what do I do with my lips? What do I do with my tongue? What is happening?
Cooties.
Oh, that's out there now. Anyway.
Yep, you're the one that told it too.
But yeah, so then we get on the bus and we make it to DC, where my lovely mother lives. And I remember on the ride, like afterwards, like on the way to there after we started dating, I'm like, oh, by the way, because it's midnight, in the morning when we reach DC, we're going to be meeting my mom because she's going to get us access to all these cool places. And she's like, huh?
Literally. I was like, what?
You say what now?
Well, but here's
And
it.
so I had her all nervous about
Right.
that.
And here's the cool part about that is you two tried to be so slick, right? And then there's Logan and Kaylee, and I forget who else was in that little group, just kind of like hee and ha 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 and looking at me and smiling and looking at the two of y'all like, ooh, like they knew a secret. Did I know? Oh my gosh. And then here's Miss Fees like making hand signals at me at the back of the crowd. And I'm like,
Right.
what
And like
is going on?
these are all kids that I've
Right.
grown up playing baseball
right.
with. I played baseball with Miss Fees' son since I was like 5.
Logan's
so
family
we all
bought
knew
our
each other.
house when we sold that little house
Right,
that you were
like-
born into. Logan's family bought that house. So yeah, these are all, and Kaylee is the niece of one of my longest friends. So like it's all connected and they're all like looking at me, looking at the two of y'all. And it didn't take me long to go, huh? Yeah, I kind of see what's going on here.
Yeah.
And the fact that we were attached at the hip that whole trip, like I don't think we left each other's side like the entire time.
Yeah, and
Except when we had to sleep.
yeah, and literally, I left my car at my job in DC and rode the bus with you guys up to Baltimore to the harbor. We went to the aquarium first, and that picture, somebody looks at me and goes, "Hey, do you know where Hayden and Cheyenne are?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they're behind the dolphin tank kissing." They're like, "Oh, snap, you know?" Then, of course, here comes these two around the corner, like, what? And I'm like, mm-mm,
What are we doing? I don't know.
mm-mm.
I'm just an innocent
Yeah.
little middle schooler. I don't know what you're talking
Right,
about.
like I think I'm slicker than slick.
Yeah, but here y'all are 10 years later, so yay.
A whole 10 years later.
A whole ass 10 years later.
Not a half-ass.
Married and everything.
So, well, I was getting ready to bring that up, Hayden. What's it feel like to have now been married for a year?
Honestly, like, because we lived together for a while before we even got engaged, like we lived at our mom's house, like getting married was fun, and it's something we've been waiting for like our whole time together, but like it doesn't feel different, you know what I mean? Like I call her my wife, but I called her wife
Right.
beforehand too. So
But here's what I'm going to say.
But
go ahead.
It's just nice to know that if I go down, she goes down with me.
Right. Well, because here's what I'm going to say.
What an optimistic viewpoint.
Cheyenne knew, listen, this goes back to people underestimating Cheyenne and the thing, probably the thing that people don't give Cheyenne enough credit for. Cheyenne knew what she wanted right from the beginning, right? And she was not going to be deterred. Most girls get out of high school, they've had a boyfriend for 3-4 years. Oh yeah, let's get married. Hayden immediately, they graduated that summer. Mom, I need you to take me over to Beards. I'm like,
it wasn't quite that.
Yeah, because you asked her that year at football draft.
No, it was the year
Was
after. It was 2019.
Okay.
So 1 year.
So he's all like, okay. So he's all like, Mom, I need you to take me over to Beards. I'm like, excuse me? I just want to look. We walk out with a ring and I'm like, okay, dude, here I'm thinking he's going to ask.
Entirely too much money.
No. Here I'm thinking he's going to ask her and they're going to be married within a year, right? Nope, not Cheyenne. Cheyenne had a plan. She knew the date she wanted to get married. Cheyenne, what's the name of your kids and how many are you having?
Well, we've gone back and forth on our kids' names,
okay.
but we do have them picked out.
Cheyenne had a plan.
We've got one boy and one girl.
We do have one boy and one girl name.
But Cheyenne had a plan. She knew exactly when she wanted to get married, and she said yes. And then it took them 2.5 years to get married? 3 years? 4. Well, there you go.
No, 5. 5 years
to get married.
Was it 5?
Wait,
it was 3.
No, it was 4. We got engaged August 18th, 2019, and we got married March 12th, 2023. So
3.5.
3.5.
Hayden, let me give you some advice. I wouldn't argue with women as far as their recollection on like engagement
or when their birthday is.
Like you're pretty much always going to be wrong.
Unless
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead because you're going to go ahead.
I will say unless you have that superpower where you can read their minds.
Which you don't.
No guy does. Let's be clear.
You don't know me.
Yes, I do.
I was just going to go back to what you're saying about like, I know what I want, because the thing with Hayden is that I told him too when we got out of high school, because like I knew we were going to get married. Like there was no doubt in my mind after everything we had went through that we were meant for each other. Like he is my other half of my body. And so I knew we were going to get married, and I told him, I said, let's wait a couple years and just like not put the stress of like, once you put a ring on it, like it's just constant. When are you getting married? When are you getting married? When are you having kids? When are you going to buy a house? When are you going to do this? So I said, let's just have like 2 or 3 years. I said, let's wait till we're 21 years old before you propose. We were 19 years old.
It
This
was
man
20.
got down on one knee.
No, you told me 20. That we had to be 20. You didn't want to be a teenager. And the stipulation was you want us to be 20 years old because, we're a month apart. So like we would both turn 20 around the same time. And you wanted your family there or you wanted it filmed. And I ticked 2 out of 3 of those boxes. That's for sure.
Dude,
we were within 2-3 months of each of us being 20. Who cares?
Okay. So I have a question then. When are y'all having kids? No, I'm kidding.
2028. That's what I've been telling John.
Stop.
Jesus.
Stop. Just don't even go there.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Too funny.
We'll get there when we get there.
Hey, I'm good with that.
So, Cheyenne, what are games that you stream and why do you stream them?
So right now I mainly stream Palia, which is like an open world MMO. I actually watched another streamer. Her name was Hillary Mason. I had taken a big hiatus from streaming for a while. And I wasn't on any platform. I just kind of, we got married, we ended up, moving and stuff. So I took a little bit of a break, got a little bit burnt out. So I started watching this girl named Hillary Mason, and she was streaming Palia, and I was like, I love this game. So I downloaded the game, and I started playing it, and I went, you know what? I would love to stream this. So that's why I started streaming up again back in August of last year. So I started streaming Palia, and I streamed Palia for months and months and months because it was literally just like my number one game. And the community off of Palia is amazing. The growth I've had from streaming that game is incredible. And then once Palia kind of died out a little bit, I started playing, The Sims, Lethal Company, which is a really fun game, Dead by Daylight, Call of the Lamb. So I just kind of mix in some stuff there, but I will say Palia is like my number one game.
I remember you driving big trucks.
I did do that on Facebook.
I watched that.
Yes.
Oh yeah, one of your like I'll be right back like montage things has an episode or like a clip in there where you flip a truck.
Yes, that's the truck simulator one, because that clip I remember crying because I was so hilarious. Oh my gosh, that clip is amazing.
Literally plowing through a small town in the middle of California at 75 going, oh, I need to turn left.
Okay, so then
And that truck went flying.
Okay, then if we get one last question, could you please tell our sick listeners where to find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitch at Chillin' with Chi. So it's Chillin' WITH and then CHI.
Chillin' with Chi.
CHI. Chillin' with
Yeah.
Chi.
Is it just Twitch, or do you have other socials?
I do have other socials under the same name, so you can find me on YouTube. I need to get back into like posting consistently on YouTube. I do have an Instagram, so you can find me literally on everything under that name.
You can find Cheyenne on your favorite social media platform at Chillin' with Chi.
Yeah. Go give her a follow, check her out. And
Yeah.
if you're somebody from her community, maybe you enjoyed this. We do other fun content. Our last episode was an escape room that I am super proud of.
It was really good episode.
Well, that wasn't our
Not
last
true.
episode, but it was a few episodes ago. That I'm super proud of.
Yeah, I mean, it is true that it was really good and he did a really nice job with it. It's just not true that it was our
Yeah,
last
it's like
episode.
what part is not true?
But anyway, thanks for being here, wife.
Thanks for letting me come on.
And
Thanks for being here, Dill Pickle.
Yeah, this was very fun.
until next time, guys, give us a follow on any social media platform at Monkeys Unfiltered, and listen to the podcast on any of the podcast services there is out there. And we'll see you next time.
Word. See y'all.
See ya.
Go ahead.
Bye.
That was good.
You can find her on your favorite social media. Oh my goodness. Do not put that at the end of the episode.
My social
I will
method.
beat you. You can find her on your favorite you can find
Third time's the charm.
I'm sucking it up. It's at the end of the episode. I don't care.
Damn right it is.
That's okay.
She focused so
That's
hard.
okay. Wait till you hear yourself saying sticker on the episode I'm editing. Sticker. You can find Cheyenne on
I ain't afraid.